Hello, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for Mr. McMahon, the latest Netflix documentary series. However, before I talk to you about that, I want to talk to you about an auction that I'm participating in. If you are a fan of pre-code comics, classic Marvel and DC early issues, or are a fan of movie posters, classic ones from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, then I have stuff that you might be interested in. We're talking issue number 1 of Silver Surfer, the Amazing Spider-Man number 14, first issue with the Green Goblin. We are talking old comics that are pre-code, all top, Jumbo Comics, Wings, Fight. These comics can all be yours if you check out the link below for my auction, or if movies are more your thing, there are some classic movie posters. An early 60s re-release original poster for Psycho, King Kong 1976, Black Sunday. These are original posters and they can be yours. Check out the info in the description box below. But moving on to The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman, wrong title. This is actually about the modern day P.T. Barnum, Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWF/WWE. WWF became a not thing. The documentary covers that. But I grew up watching wrestling and being a hardcore fan of it during the what is called Attitude Era. I started watching, weirdly enough, WCW in like 95, 96, and then sort of got absorbed by the Vince McMahon of it all in 1996 through to about 2001 when I kind of lost track of wrestling and grew out of it, for want of a better term. But this is a deep dive examination of Vince McMahon, the owner, how he rose and his deep fall from grace. It is a thrilling and grim examination of the person that's guided by Vince McMahon himself before a lot of scandals broke out in 2022, 3, and 2024 this very year. His participation stopped at the tail end of 2022, and the story picks up with people who kind of broke the stories, the scandals that eroded his career, at least as of this point. Yeah, I would imagine it'd be hard to redeem where he's at. That said, it shines a light on wrestling in a way that I hadn't really seen before in any convincing way. How it is a sport of promotion, self-promotion, and entertainment. It is a literal circus, just with athleticism at the forefront, and some of the most extreme athleticism that you've seen from athletes that don't get their due because what they're putting on is a fixed show. But just because something's fixed doesn't mean that it's not real, so to speak. This documentary series uncovers that, but more than that, it uncovers all the different layers of Vince McMahon. You get to learn a lot about him. It humanizes him, but vilifies him in the same note, because it is this self-guided tour, and you can see all the makings of this cruel man that he is establishing himself as a professional wrestler in Mr. McMahon, and how that can translate or transpose onto the man at his core, the real live person. This is a multifaceted documentary in that sense, not only detailing a really interesting and captivating history of the World Wrestling Entertainment / Federation, whatever you want to call it. I grew up with WWF, so it's hard for me to kind of throw that aside. It really kind of deep dives into the history of that, the making of these heroic characters, as they call them, baby faces, or these truly villainous masterminds, as they call them, heels, and how the story comes to evolve. It is absolutely spectacular. This is one of the best, this is the best sports documentary I've ever watched. That being said, I've never really watched many sports documentaries. But more than that, this is just a captivating piece of entertainment that really exposes Vince McMahon for who he is, a modern P.T. Barnum of our present. And I can only hope that the filmmakers who made The Greatest Showman would look at Vince McMahon and think, you know what, we're having trouble writing a Greatest Showman 2 with P.T. Barnum the way that movie ended, yet there's like this clamor for more songs, more of that energy, that they just decided for Greatest Showman 2 to just do the Vince McMahon story. You don't even need to recast anything. You can still have Hugh Jackman as Vince McMahon. You can have Zac Efron play a wrestler. He has some experience in this. Hell, you could find a place for Zendaya. Let's make this work. That movie was an entire work of fiction based on a real-life, larger-than-life entertainer who really at his core was a truly wicked, awful person. Let's sequelize that with Vince McMahon, who's calling it. Let's make this happen, guys. I am not kidding either. I would love that. I would live for that. My present goal is to live long enough to see the Vince McMahon musical, Greatest Showman style. That being said, this is an easy 4-star documentary series for me. It's available currently on Netflix. It's 6 episodes, but you will want to just not stop watching. This is just an extended feature-length film for all intents and purposes. It is genuinely captivating. Even if you're not a huge fan of wrestling, as my wife isn't, she even kind of got roped into it. She finds wrestling kind of repugnant, and this kind of shines a light on how that is the case to some extent, or a lot of extents. And that, as I say, she got involved with it as well. It's as much a history examination, a political examination, looking at our current political climate and his influence in our current political landscape, as it is a true crime documentary. It's fabulous. This is, as I say, multifaceted. I could sing the praises of this all the live long day. The last thing I forgot to mention is not only did they get interviews with Vince McMahon and the McMahon family, they got interviews with basically every major player wrestler that has worked for them. There are some that are missing, like there's no Goldberg or Kevin Nash or stuff. Those are more ECW guys. There's no Batista, but they sure as shit get like Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. They get everybody who's still kind of currently alive, John Cena, talking about this stuff, and it is fabulous. I really, really loved. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, take a look at my auction, and peace.